have so many people from the original Broadway cast of Legally Blonde here today. If you wouldn't mind just turning your cell phones on silent so they don't go off in the middle of the panel, that would be amazing. And I'm going to turn it over to Caitlin Hornick, who's the Deputy Lifestyle and Culture Editor at The Independent. Here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's give some snaps to the original Broadway cast. What a thrill to be with you today. Again, I'm Caitlin. I'm the Deputy Lifestyle and Culture Editor at The Independent, and I am thrilled beyond words to be here with all of you today and these fabulous people. Just to, I know we all know who they are, but just in case. Today, we are joined by none other than Bell Bundy. We have Mr. Chrisian Borle. Lovely Miss Orfeh. But it just feels disingenuous to not give you a little recap of why we're all here. So, exactly 18 years ago today, Legally Blonde opened at the Palace Theater. Yeah, I know. Didn't mean to rub it in.
We were 10 years old.
But Legally Blonde is legal. The show ran for 30 previews and 595 performances. Received 7 Tony Award nominations. And
3 of them right here.
And now we're here to celebrate. So let's get down to it. All right, let's do it. Just regular. I love it. So let's start by talking about the fun shoes that broke the internet. All the fun items that are going to be living at the museum now.
Well, I have had in my basement or garage or storage unit for 18 years 2 big bins of that robe was in it. All my show shoes and my rehearsal clothes and opening night gifts and jackets and dog bag and when I heard about the Museum of Broadway, I thought, wow, this is a really great time to recondo it. And offload these items to the museum. So probably the most famous item in the bins was the infamous shoe that flew off my foot during So Much Better, which surprisingly millions of people have seen.
So set the scene. Talk about Elle's emotional journey up to that point.
I was very excited because she was feeling so much better. And it was at the end of the number, and she got so excited that...
She, method actor, go. Wow.
that she kicked her leg up. And when she did it, the first time in San Francisco, with no straps on, it flew all the way to the back of the house. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I did not wear theater shoes in the show. I refused to wear those ugly dance shoes because she had the line, "You got the best freaking shoes."
Right. That's why.
And I see they're in rehearsals, they bring the shoes over, they're fitting me for the shoes, and they look like hospital shoes. So Jerry and I had a discussion. We were like,
Jerry Mitchell, the director.
I am going to, he goes, what do you, well, should we just get like Pradas and Gucci's and, designer shoes for you? And I said,
And Laura Bell
yes.
said, absolutely not.
So that's why. They didn't have a strap at first, and they put a strap on, and then it happened again, and that's the one that's on the internet, the second one, and then they put an industrial strength elastic. And that is now in the glass display that you'll be able to see.
What are we doing sitting here? Let's all go!
Speaking of the internet, I think this came up in the panel this morning. For those who weren't here, there was an amazing panel on Legally Blonde: The Search for Elle Woods. It was great. I streamed it from work. Don't tell my boss. So they were talking this morning about how the show has had such amazing life beyond Broadway, and how the internet wasn't really as big a deal back then.
What are we shushing about? It didn't exist.
I'm just trying not to age
Not
myself.
really. Not like this.
No, not like this.
No.
Exactly.
You couldn't get a record deal because you were on TikTok. No, I'm choosing to delete that.
But so the show, there are so many viral online moments that have become part of the zeitgeist. Like, Courtney, take your break. Courtney, take your break. So what does it mean to, right, I know. What does it mean to know that you are part of, something that is like the original cast, in a show that has taken on life that is just so far beyond what kind of ever existed on Broadway? The culture around the show is so exquisite, and it has such a devout following. Did you ever imagine back then, in the early days of Broadway, that we'd be here today?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And I had so much fun doing this show, and it was by far the lightest, fluffiest thing I'd done, especially for a long time. Because if you're a girl and you're tall and you're in the theater, you're much more likely to be cast as a sex worker or someone who does a lot of drugs. So I played
Vivian wasn't a sex worker drug addict. Okay. She was in my version of
anyway. The other thing that was wild was that we opened the same season as Spring Awakening, and so my back of the envelope calculation was that all the sort of teenagers who were trying to find their place in the world flocked to Spring Awakening, and they did. But I didn't anticipate that same group, or that same age group, that same season showing up for us in the way that they did, and continued to. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I think when your show is taped for prime television and MTV, and then it gets uploaded to YouTube, it becomes something that's much easier for schools to put on, because they just tell the kids to watch the video and do that.
Yeah. Yes. Am I right?
I can't tell from your tone whether you
No, I think it's great. I think it's great that happened, but I believe that that's why that the show had the life, because people got to see the show, because it was illegally uploaded to, it was the Illegally Blonde. But I'm so glad it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with art and theater and everything, timing is everything, right? And I think I had always thought that the show was brilliant. And I thought it was so funny and so irreverent and so spot on and so of the moment, and yet also somehow timeless. And it just was the quote-unquote wrong year for it. And I think when that happens, it's like we could have come out in the right year, quote-unquote, and then exploded with popularity and all this attention, and then sort of maybe fizzled or plateaued. And instead, it came out in a year that everyone flocked to Spring Awakening. It was like sort of everyone was doing that. And then over time, doing the TV thing, people just finally tuned in and were like, wait, this one. And I think that's why it has the life that it has and why all of you are here. And it's so...
I always say to everybody, Laura Bell and I hang out to this, Paula and Elle, it's a real thing. But I would say it's so unbelievable that we're so much more well known now than we were when we were in the show. So like it's had this incredible life beyond that because of the MTV thing, and then now people do the taping and the filming and all that, and I'm always the one, we did it first. But it's incredible that TikTok is like, there's something like 8 billion views for Legally Blonde, and it's like, seriously. And you know, I fancy myself a millennial, but anyway, so that's, who would have ever known that the life beyond that point in time would have existed? Because we should have had a much longer run. We really should have, and that's true. But what now we really have, and where are all those other shows?
Yeah.
Just saying. So, huh?
Revival.
Not up to us.
Well, that's a great segue to my next question. If the show were to have renewed life on Broadway, give me your dream cast right now.
Yeah, but I always cast myself. And then I would like Christian would play Callahan. You know, Laura Bell would still play Ellen, my mother. I'm just saying, Kate would still be Vivi. But in my perfect world, I refuse to think of other people. But I do have my dream cast. What is yours, dream cast? And if you don't mention me, I'm leaving.
You want every role.
Thank you. Yes, like Cher's West Side Story. Absolutely. So, but you know,
I'd see that. I'd see that every day.
I'd be exhausted, but it'd be fabulous. I don't know, who would your?
Oh, I don't know. Every time I think of someone who could be Elle, it takes too long for a revival to happen and they age out. I had always thought Dove Cameron would be it. But I don't know. Anybody else have thoughts?
Kiki, the hairstylist, is timeless, and I could play it in the age of
And maybe like Jordan Fisher could understudy. Spitballing. No, but I said this a little bit in the panel this morning. I think the show's life is so beautiful in young people's lives, especially during the pandemic with TikTok. It's such positive messaging for the spirit of Elle Woods and the entire cast. Young queer people can get on board with it, with Gary European and their icon legend, Matt Rich. But I teach a lot and I go to so many schools, and to see the way the show affects them, it's accessible. They can do it in their schools. They're singing these songs, they're saying these lines, and it's more powerful than maybe a lot of the other shows they're doing that they may not connect to so much in this like modern empowerment way. So it's a great.
They're doing their very best to sing those songs. I will never get over Courtney Take a Break. I will never get over the way that has become such a thing, and that you don't realize that that actually is like a tricky little part of the voice. Where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put it? And I will never get over the way Courtney Take a Break. I truly went to a full K-hole one day and watched it was just a Courtney Take a Break and I was like 15 minutes in, and I was like with my pal, and we were watching it, and we were like, oh shit, there's like 30 more minutes. I think we're done. But it was wild. It is.
Little girls.
I really just.
Here's the question though: is Amber Ife a part of that movement? I have not heard her chime in about it. I don't see her on social media. She's the OG Courtney Take a Break.
And she
Right.
sang the
Gayla
hell
does.
out of it. We ran into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
She's the
Amber
smartest
became
one.
a lawyer, and I think she's like, I'm out.
Yeah, we ran into each other one day in Harlem on the street, and she has like a beautiful baby, and she's living in slang. So. Snaps! Courtney is taking a break.
That's incredible. Speaking of the relationships you've forged kind of in this show and building a show, who are you still in touch with? Obviously, besties over here. You hang out all the time.
All the time.
All the time. Who else are you still tight with? Are there any bonds that kind of emerged after the show's life on Broadway?
Me and Laura, we weren't friends before the show, and then
Microphone.
Oh my God!
and then we became through, and then we've stayed close ever since.
Yeah, Paul and I, we basically shared a hotel room in San Francisco when we took a show out of town and spooned.
I would make her get up and do Ruthless, numbers from Ruthless. Like, do it again.
I think we've all of us here have remained close. At least I've remained close to all of you.
I did get an invitation to your recent birthday party. Just saying, that was on Mike Street.
Live stream.
We are all still on a giant group chat.
Yes.
So yeah, we're on a giant group chat. I mean, Jerry Mitchell, the director, he's on it. Larry Nell, it's so fun.
Heather.
Yeah.
I have remained really close friends with Christian since the show, and last summer I had the pleasure of having the honor of marrying him to his wife at our house to me. That's how close the friendship is. No, but I mean, we've remained, and it's lovely.
And Paul was in my wedding.
Oh.
Yes, was one of my bridesmen. And I think I really feel like we all connected deeply during the show, and I love all of you.
And we
I want to say anything. Kevin will also do your wedding as Elle's dad.
That's a good gig.
Hey, all I can do is eat at hoops.
Excellent.
All available.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when it comes to casting the revival, I mean, it's not that most of us had never worked on Broadway before, but everybody didn't know who we were, and I feel like the show got to shine because of that. Like, we all got to show up and do our best job, and there wasn't, obviously Laura Bell had a much bigger burden to carry, like carrying that whole show, but the show was the star and she was the star. So I don't think about stunt casting it. I think about like young actors who are probably younger than we were when we did it. But also, the thing that happens when you do a show for that long, especially a show you really like, is that it creates a community. So I haven't seen some of these folks in a few years, but it doesn't mean that we aren't, like, we sort of picked up where we left off about 45 minutes ago downstairs.
Well then, I mean, being a part of the Broadway community, which is the best community there possibly is, we do, like Christian and I downstairs, there was a Thoroughly Modern Millie program. We joined Thoroughly Modern Millie in 2003, the same time, the same week. Then we went on to do Blonde. Natalie joined Kinky Boots on the tail end of me performing, and there was like my sister coming into the show. I'm like, welcome. And then Galen joined Kinky Boots. And Jerry Mitchell has that, he's kind of the father of a cast that is so tight and so led with positivity and light that is so beautiful, which is why I follow him anyway.
Just to get on that train. Jerry is really good at putting people together. I mean, he's always said, like, I want to have dinner with you. Like, I want to be able to have dinner with these people. Like, that's his thing. He's so good at knowing who's going to get along and who's going to have fun. And he knows that it all trickles down from the top, and that fun times equals, a good show.
Yeah.
He's so good at that, and I don't take that for granted because, honey, I've been in some shows where that's not the case.
Yeah.
And it's not as fun. And the show isn't as good.
I always thought, like, Jerry is vibrating at a certain level, and he brings in people that are vibrating at a similar level, and then we all end up connecting because we're there, together.
And because he is so full out, like, I mean, Jerry would do the jump rope, like, every day with everyone. And
We play all our parts.
oh, of course, let me be you. But when it was like the first couple days of rehearsal, he invited those of us that weren't in the number, that were, had lines in the number and weren't jumping the rope, hey, if you want to come in and jump with us, go for it. I made it a day and a half, and never to return for an early hour. It's like, have fun, you guys. But he would jump that rope every day with everyone, and he just has this, he is full out, and he demands that you also be that, but because he is leading by such like a strong example of fun and dedication and just going for it, you have no choice but want to like rise to that occasion. And like literally I would take Rusty aside and poor Michelle Cottrell every 5 or 10 minute break that we had. They didn't have one because I was like shuffle hop step, shuffle hop step. Let's do it. Teach me this Irish dance because I'm not getting fired because I don't know how to do this goddamn 16 bars of a tap. So anyway, chill out, babe.
So, like, I completely forgot about this till we started talking about Jerry, but it's hard to believe, but I'm pretty sure, wasn't this the first Broadway show he directed?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's wild because of everything he's done since then. Because he was always going to be a Broadway director, but I've worked with him since, and it's just awesome to see, like, somebody at the top of their game for so long, how they grow and develop.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
beautiful.
You should
I love
film
we just
that
went
for
on like
him.
a whole journey there. That was amazing. What is one thing that stands out that you remember 18 years later that was a pivotal moment during the show, during rehearsals? Give us a memory.
Perhaps you're not familiar with the golf cart incident. Was that yours?
Yes, that was mine as well.
Because it was absolutely unbelievable when it happened. We were all doing, it was the remix. It was the remix. Right. And the guy who was driving the golf cart was the...
Jody Renard.
Right.
We're naming names.
But Jody had never had a chance to drive the car. He had never driven it in real time on the stage, in that scenario. With lights, the whole thing, we're dancing, the remix. The car comes out and does this wide circle, and I could just tell that it was not going to make the turn. And the rear left wheel of the car went off the apron of the stage. So now the cart is like upended a little bit on stage left. All of us on stage, dancing monkeys, we're still going, no stopping, the cart's there, and two crew guys come out and they're trying to get the cart, but because the weight of the cart is now hanging over the pit, there's no way for them to lift it. Two men in the house, in suit and tie, walked down the aisle to the cart and pushed the cart back up onto the stage. And literally saved that thing from not, because there was no way, we were going to have to stop the show. So, people in that pit, I swear that people in that pit did not know that cart was hanging.
No, there was a whole group in the front row that was like, ah! And then my back was to the audience the entire time, because that's when you like run and go. That's where you run and go. And they were like, our new Kyle came over and he's like, Paulette, what's going on? I said, I have no fucking idea. The entire audience, because I didn't know why everybody was, I couldn't see, my back was to the audience. And literally they're like all laughing. She's always, this is Laura Bell, you know something's going on. And she's doing this, everyone's like this, I'm going, are my pants off? Did something happen? I didn't know. Remember that, we'll talk about that. But literally everyone, and he's like, Paulette, what's going on? And I look back and there's a mass of people literally shoving the golf cart back on the stage. And then we just finished the number and we never had to stop the show because of the fine, strong, burly men that came and put the thing back on stage. And we're crying. She's crying. This one breaks. And you could just go, and he's like, so Kate's trying to keep it together. No. Well, not that day. But we were all like, what is, and I'm clueless. I'm going, oh, that, and I went, oh, whatever. So, yeah, that was one of the times.
I think that I wasn't there. I was on the road doing Legally Blonde at that point, but I heard about it, and my favorite detail that I heard about it is that Jody was playing Elle's single black gay dad because there were so many people out of the show that also there was no mom, there was no Elle's mother. So it was literally just giving like single gay dad of Elle Woods which I just love. I think that's amazing. It tracks.
So ahead of its time in so many ways, this show.
Well, there was also, please talk about the wig incident.
Oh, well, there was more than one.
Well, yeah, but you
incident.
asked.
But my favorite one was when I bent and snapped so hard my wig flew off. And right, I had it just went.
And there's the wig cap, and I'm like grabbing the wig going.
That's right before bent and snap happened. She's like, bent and snap, what's that? And I'm like, the bent and snap.
We're like,
flew off. And
I've been trying to like tease
yes,
you.
So I was like, I want to thank everybody for coming to see Legally Bald. And I was like, hey, Paulette, want to help me put my hair back on? Yeah, well, yes, you're in the hair fair, sit in the chair. And so, everybody, all of the Delta News in the scene, the PMS girls, they took out their hairpins, and you did too, and you brought the wig over that you were fluffing and teasing, and they put the wig back on, but what they didn't realize is that they put the back in the front, and the whole rest of the number, I'm like this.
Oh, they realized it.
And I'm like, cousin it. And then I'm trying to do bend and snap after that. The wig is not secure, and every time, like, how many bend and snaps are in bend and snap?
Well, you had like 73 at the end.
It's just, I kept grabbing my hair. And so that was one of my favorite moments. There were other moments. What other moments?
Sweet Bill Berloni trained all of our amazing doggies in the show, and we just realized all of them have since passed on. Bill is doing great. But one of the most special experiences that I've had at the Palace was he would always come to my dressing room with Chico, and we would have bonding time because we had bits that we had to do on stage together. And just that 5 minutes of like hearing the knock and then Chico running in and jumping on the couch and getting like, my job was to bond with this amazing chihuahua. It was so beautiful. That was one of my favorite parts of the entire day.
Do you remember when, was it Boo was on?
Yes.
And Boo was tiny. Boo was like 3 pounds, right? And the crowd made a lot of noise, and it was, when the dog came out, obviously, and it was a real focus of the trainers to make sure that the dogs that they were using for the show could handle all that, like that wall of sound coming at them. I remember one day, I haven't thought about this in forever, the dog just turned around and around. and Anna Lee, who's supposed to do that, like, talk and ask a question, and then the dog barks at you. Like, she had to just make it up, because there was no dog.
And fun fact, Orfeh adopted Boo, and I adopted Teddy. Who was kind of adopted the reality show, which was super fun. And yeah, shout out.
And I adopted Christian.
Rough.
He rarely talks about the 5 minutes in the dressing room that I get.
Every single night.
Or the 5 minutes I came in there. I love this. Reliving just such glory days. All the things. What is one piece of advice you would give your younger self, knowing what you know now, having gone through the Legally Blonde process, circuit, however you want to call it? What would you tell your younger self?
Call in sick when you feel sick.
If you're tired, take a break. I mean, I was like a bit of a workhorse.
Courtney, take your break.
Courtney, take a break. You guys will be happy to know that my assistant's name is Courtney. No, for real.
We call her Courtney.
I don't know, but I think, that would be me. Take care of yourself, take care of your health and, you know, preserve your gift. I definitely pushed myself hard because I had a lot of expectations on me, and I wanted to do the show. I loved doing the show. It was so fun, and I wanted to be there. But I think, you know, doing that in the press and everything, you know, there at some point you do reach a limit. I didn't necessarily see that in the beginning. Now I'm much more mindful of it because I had to repair post-show. But that would be the note that I would give my younger self, is to just get quiet, listen to your body, and take care of yourself, because you're not just a one-show gal. There's more shows to go.
Mine, it's actually something I've just gotten better at as I get older. Just enjoy it while you're doing it, not when you look back at it. You know, if you're involved in something that you think is extraordinary, take the time to look around and be like, this doesn't come along every day. And that used to be hard, and now it's much easier.
Can I just ask you a quick question while you have the mic?
Oh.
So sorry. This was on my list of questions because the fans want to know, how satisfying was it to hit that note in the mix? Plus it's fierce.
It was very fun. I had to really pace myself during my extraordinary Irish dancing. So that I wasn't winded. But I've said this so many times over the years, like that was like a party trick I had from college. And then when we were doing the workshop, I was like, it's the only song I sing in this show. And then everyone else comes in. And I feel like there might be something at the end where I could just pull focus like crazy. Good party trick. Right.
I would.
I filmed a bunch during, because I had this little camera, and like Laura would host a dance party before the show, every show in San Francisco. Jerry would join, just got everybody like going. And I filmed all that, but we didn't have social needs. We didn't have like, I'm not posting this right away, we just kind of did it for us.
Yeah.
And I think that is a valuable way to live in the present moment, which we all did, like out of town, opening show on Broadway, without the distraction of like, oh, this is gonna be we're gonna post this and I have so many fans and followers and likes. No too much shade for that, because now we all are riding that ride.
But it's almost as if life was better without social media. That's such an interesting point that you make.
Oh shit!
I'll stand over here.
Ernest has just walked in.
What did you learn? What have you been doing?
Oh my gosh, now I feel embarrassed. Sorry, I busted in.
Come over and sit here. There's a stool right here.
Do you want a water?
Let's start over.
Original.
The most dramatic in the show.
The most dramatic story. What's the real question?
Any advice you would give to your younger self, having been through the Legally Blonde process?
Oh, yeah, I was a swing. And we all know what a swing is, like understudy for the chorus, and then understudy sometimes for other lead parts. And this was the second time I swung, so I think my advice to my younger self would be, have fun, girl! I was taking everything real seriously, which is good. You know, it's a job.
Right.
That's right. But then sometimes I went on for this guy. I'm a lady. That was a guy. It was a thing that I literally never watched before. So yeah, just have more fun. Have more fun. Thank you.
Jump rope when you can.
All the time, yeah.
Incredible. Let's do a little lightning round. We're gonna play past the mic as well. I'm gonna ask something, and you're just gonna go one at a time and give me your answer. It's all Legally Blonde related, obviously. You want to start us off?
I don't care. Yes, I do.
I love it. Thank you. Favorite song in the show?
Just a lightning round. Oh my god, you guys.
So much better.
So much better.
What you want.
Wow.
Mention, I really like Love and War, which turned out.
Oh my God, for its sticking ability.
I'm gonna be different, say whipped into shape.
Yeah, I have to say What You Want only because I got to do 2 featured bits in it. And it was my favorite.
Can you give us one at the end?
What? Oh, yes, that's the only thing I'll ever be. It'll be on my tombstone. They say, "Here lies Kevin Pariseau. Welcome to Harvard."
I love a B-side. I'm gonna go with Take It Like a Man. I always love, like watching these two work is always wonderful. And it really was like it's such a beautiful moment in the show. And I would get chills watching it, and I loved it. That's my favorite.
I agree. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I feel like it's really hard because there's so many good ones. But Take It Like a Man, I always loved it. And also, not for nothing, even though I hated it when they first changed the lyric to drop the top and just drive, I also loved the ballad.
Yeah, it's very
It's so beautiful. So beautiful and so angsty. Round 2.
Oh. Let's go back around this.
I love it.
Favorite character?
They eat it.
What'd you say? Carlos. Dean of Harvard.
Kiki the hairstylist. And Sandeep Phenomena.
The swings.
Courtney.
Paulette.
Elle Woods.
Bruiser.
And lastly, would Elle get into Harvard today?
Let's talk politics.
Yes. She needs to get into Harvard.
That's the right answer. Incredible. Our time together is slowly coming to an end. I know, we're having so much fun. One final question, you're allowed to say no. If we clear out these chairs, can we do a bend and snap together?
I've never done a bed and snap.
First time for everything.
First time!
If Kate does.
If you do want to do it. Come on.
I teach so much, but now I do an adult dance class. When we bend, we snap. Everyone. I want Christians.
All
We're
right.
not doing it one at a time.
It's a group. It's a team effort. Team effort. Let's do it. Paul, do you want to show us? Thank you. It has to be done.
You're the queen of this show. I always think about that. Honestly, more than anyone else. You're the
I'm pretty sure I see a lot of people doing this before shows now. What is this? And I always know it's not.
Well, we're going to say that's what it is.
Anyway, sorry. Let's do it, ready? 1, 2, 3. We bend! Nailed it. Looking glass.
thank you all so much for being with us. We're gonna get a group photo and just stay in your seats for a few more minutes while we navigate our photo. But thank you so much for being with us.